time frames are looking pretty bullish, but this hourly in particular, we're looking very, very bullish here. Right, we had this hourly SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, just a bearish fair value gap right here. And we really started to push through that. Now, obviously, we still have about 43 minutes left on this new hourly candle right here. And technically, we still could close inside of that level. But we really look like we are trying to inverse that hourly and continue up for our buy side highs. So we have buy side liquidity at a swing high here. Right, so we've got some buy side liquidity up here. And then we've got another level of buy side up here at this swing high. So we've got two buy side liquidity levels just above that I really do expect us to run to. And just looking at our hourly range, right, we also have the swing low on the hourly. So I don't necessarily want to see us come down for this low. I'd want to see us continue up because we're also forming a bullish breaker block on the hourly. If we close above, we have a low, a high, a lower low. So if we get displacement on the highs, we'll have a bullish breaker as well. So a lot of bullish patterns, but let's go back to the daily time frame real quick. Let's look at the daily. All right, we're still inside of this daily SIBI, daily bearish imbalance. It goes all the way up to this high or to the low of this wick right here. So we still have a long ways to go until we do inverse this level. But I also want you guys to pay attention to this daily order block. So these two up close candles right here are this daily order block. And what I did was I charted out the 50% or the equilibrium of that level. Notice how that red line right there, that's the EQ of our daily bearish order block. Why do I chart that out? Because plenty of times we see the equilibrium of our order blocks, our fair value gaps, and our ranges act as a very strong level for price to react off of. And if it doesn't react off that level, then we just have more confirmation that price most likely wants to keep running up to buy side. So we're going to pay attention to that level if we do make it up that far. Again, today we don't have much news coming out at all. So it might be more of a range day. But that's kind of what we expected yesterday, and we actually saw a pretty decent price action yesterday. So we might see some decent price action. We're already looking very bullish, but let's just start dropping down now into some smaller time frames here. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame, right? If we look over to the left of our charts, a lot of imbalances that we've been in for a while now. We also have this 4-hour order block up here that we could definitely see price go up and target. So I do want to chart out that order block on the 4-hour because this could be a level that price wants to bounce off of. Extend that. So we're going to title that 4-hour minus OB. 4-hour minus OB. Right there. All right, we can zoom it out a little bit. All right, so we got that 4-hour bearish order block right there. All right, and then we zoom in a little bit more to the 4-hour. And we do have an imbalance all the way down here on the 4-hour time frame. Right here. So we could definitely see us coming back for that eventually. I don't really want to see us come back for that anytime today necessarily. But still a level that we want to chart out here. Oh, my bad there. Still a level that we want to chart out here, right? Why do I keep doing that? Let's fix that. There we go. All right. Okay, so 4-hour busy down here. Like I said, don't necessarily want to see us come down for that level. I want to see us start pushing through up into this 4-hour order block, up into the daily order block up here, grabbing buy side liquidity. So let's go back to the hourly. Remember, we just talked about the hourly time frame, about the inversion of this 1-hour SIBI, about us taking out these highs up top, and creating a bullish breaker. But I want us to go all the way down to the 15-minute time frame real quick. And I want you to look here. We have this swing low. We have a swing high up here. We have another swing low, and then we have a displacement of the highs. So we did just technically create a bullish breaker block on the 15-minute time frame as well. So we can chart out the highest up close candle on this swing high right here. That's going to be our breaker block, right? Previous bearish order block inversed turned into a breaker. So that's going to be a bullish breaker here on the 15-minute time frame, right? So if we leave a fair value gap overlapping this breaker, that's my favorite entry model. That would be a unicorn model right here, which means once we trade back into that fair value gap, which would lead us right into market open, we might see a very, very solid entry model right at market open to take us up to buy side liquidity. So that's kind of what I want to look for here, right? So I want to see us create this 15-minute fair value gap, this unicorn model overlapping the breaker. I want to see us create that fair value gap, come back down, trade into it, and then we're going to drop to the 5-minute and the 1-minute to find a really solid entry level to see if we can catch a nice long position, right, from this fair value gap. And then ultimately, we'd be looking to catch it all the way up, right, to that high and to this high. That's my expectation going into today. That's what I want to see happen. But as I was saying before, we might have more of a range day, so we might not expect too much expansion even if we do take out this buy side liquidity. We might expect us to take out liquidity and come back down and kind of sit in a range for the day because we don't really have much news. So let's just be aware of that just in case. Okay, we can also look at our previous session highs and lows. So this high up here, all the way up here, is actually New York AM high, and this high up here was New York PM high. So these are both previous session highs right there, right? So those are key levels of liquidity. And then if we look over here, we've already taken out our Asia high, which was up here. Where was it? Around 10 p.m. right here. So we already took out that level. Let's look for our London high, which obviously we have already taken out. It was right here around 3:30 a.m. So we've already taken out that level. But then we can look down here and notice that this is actually our London low down here, right? So previous session low. This is our London kill zone low. So we're going to chart that out as our London low here. And Asia low looks like it's already been swept as well. So our only previous session highs and lows that we have are New York PM high, New York AM high, and London low. What are we more likely to draw to going into today's market open? Well, to me, it looks like we are way more likely to draw to our previous session highs up here at New York PM high, New York AM high, right? We've broken structure. We've gotten a market structure shift to the upside. We've created a bullish breaker block, a reversal pattern. We're inversing a 1-hour bearish imbalance. So everything technically right now tells me that we are looking very bullish and we're looking to target buy side. Okay, so let's go over to ES. Let's chart out ES as well, just because it is our confluence, right? It's our correlating market. We want to keep our eye on this market. So we have the same exact 1-hour fair value gap right here. Let's see, is that the same one? Yeah, it's the same one, but we have not technically inversed it yet. So we do want to see ES inverse this level as well. We do want to see ES close above that level and come up for these highs, right? We got the swing high here, right there on ES. And then we also have this swing high up here, right? So we definitely want to see ES pushing up for those levels as well. We could look at a daily time frame here on ES. We do have a big gap right here, so we might see, well, technically ES has already gone down and filled that gap, right? We've technically come down and wicked below that gap. So we could see a continuation up to buy side on that as well. 4-hour time frame, we don't have an imbalance until all the way down there. And then remember, guys, we are at all-time highs here because ES continues to make all-time highs, right? NQ has not been making all-time highs, but ES has. So something to note as well. Go into the 1 hour. Remember, we have this London low down here as well. Actually, that's not London low. London low already got swept on ES, but we do just have that swing low there. So let's chart that out. Okay, and then let's go down to the 15-minute time frame, and we can see something very similar. We had a little bit of a swing low, swing high, swing low, displacement of the highs, right? So bullish breaker here on ES as well, creating a bullish unicorn. So everything here on ES looks very bullish to me too. But I'm also going to take a look at, let's just pull up the VIX real quick. Let's see what the volatility index is doing. Give us a better understanding, right? The VIX is looking very bearish. We just gapped down. So when I see the VIX looking very bearish, I want to see NQ and ES looking very bullish, right? This is supposed to move the opposite of our indices of NQ and ES. So right now, I do see some confluence here that the VIX is looking very, very bearish, and NQ and ES are looking very bullish. So just another confirmation right there. So that is just more conviction for me. More conviction for me to see these longs step in. But we're going to market open in just under 4 minutes. But there might be a trade set up pretty quick into market open. Now, typically, I like to wait. I'm more of a conservative trader. I usually like to wait for the first 10 to 15 minutes before I take a trade. unless something like this happens today, where we see a possible A plus setup going right into market open, right? So I might be more willing to take a trade right after market open if we can trade into our unicorn and give us a good, level on our lower time frames as well that we expect to take us up to our buy side liquidity, right? So we have this 15-minute bullish breaker. We're creating a 15-minute unicorn. And now we just have to wait and see, okay, is the entry model going to play out, once the market opens, or are we going to get really choppy and are we going to get really rangy? I want to see us really trade into that level and start to expand. So what we want to look at is our risk. What is our risk going to look like, right? Let's say we got an entry at the very top of the unicorn model. We could keep decent risk, right? I could keep a 60 tick stop loss, but where's my first TP? It's about 104 ticks. So unless I wanted to take a first TP up at this next high, I wouldn't justify having a 60 tick stop loss because that's under a 1 to 2 risk to reward. That's not good risk to reward. So unless I get my entry a little bit lower, like down here off the breaker, right, I probably won't keep a 60 tick stop. Now let's say I do get my entry up here and I'm looking to target here as first TP. I would probably keep my stop around 50 to 55 ticks. But it's still good because it's still below the breaker block and still below the unicorn. Right, but we are dropping kind of aggressively right now. Let's see if we still create this unicorn model. Right, we're dropping pretty hard. We're kind of filling what would be a fair value gap. And we have just a few minutes, right, just under 2 minutes here until our market opens, until this 15-minute candle closes. So that's what I have for you guys today. That's my expectation. Now, it's on us, right, to execute our strategy, to be disciplined, to stay patient, and wait for A plus setups, right? Control what you can control. You cannot control where the market goes, but you can control how you react to it. You can control the executions you make, the trades that you make, and your emotions, all right? So let's focus on that today. Thank you to everybody who is here. Let's have a great day, and let's stay focused, all right, guys? All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, so no unicorn anymore, right? So that kind of invalidates that because now we don't have that fair value gap overlapping the breaker. So that invalidates my unicorn model, but we're still respecting the bullish breaker. Still respecting the bullish breaker going into market open even without the unicorn. So here's what I'm going to look for right now. As long as we can close inside of this breaker, get a reaction off of it. If I'm going to get in the longs, I'm going to need to wait now for us to come up and inverse this 1 minute SIBI right here, right? Because we just formed a little bit, of a reversal pattern on the 1 minute. We got a little bit of a break of structure, strong fair value gap being created. So now I would really need to see us run through that fair value gap off the breaker if I'm going to have conviction to jump into a long position. So the market just opened. We're respecting the breaker, the 50% level, the equilibrium, but we're probably going to see some volatility here. So we just got to stay patient. We can't rush anything. All right, we're really trading down here. The one thing I don't like right now is this hourly candle looking like it still wants to try and close inside of the 1 hour SIBI. Now, if that's the case, if we're going to close inside of the 1 hour SIBI, that's when I start looking for shorts. If we start to inverse some bullish levels like we're doing right now, I start to look for shorts down to London low. As long as we're holding, right, and we can push above the SIBI, I'm still going to be looking for longs. But already my initial thought process going into market open is already being invalidated here, right? But that doesn't make me upset. I don't have a big ego about it. I'm not going to, let that affect me. Now I just look to adjust my plan if the market is showing me something different. If the market is showing me something different than I imagined before, cool. I'll just look for a different type of trade than I expected. All right, so manipulation on market open. We might actually get some SMT divergence down here. If NQ comes down and sweeps this low, it doesn't look like ES is going to sweep it. So that would give us some SMT. What does SMT mean? That's just a divergence between correlating markets where we see NQ sweep a low and ES fails. ES is showing more strength. That would tell me that NQ also wants to move back up, right? So I would like to see SMT. We'll see if we get it here. Still paying attention to the 1 minute right now, right? I still want to pay attention to this 1 minute bearish for value gap up here. Still going to look at that. Hey, there you go, Rulies. Good trade, man. Good trade. My apologies, guys. I'm very congested right now. I have a little bit of a cold, so my voice is a little bit gone right now. All right, guys. So I'm just going to keep waiting here. I'm going to keep being patient. Really want to see what kind of reaction we're going to get within the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of our market. When we were first opening, I wanted to catch a trade pretty quick, right? Now I'm being a little bit more patient, but we did just trade into this busy down here. Strong wick here on the 15. I want to see if these longs are going to start stepping in, so I'm going to start looking for longs pretty soon. If we can come up and actually inverse this 1 minute SIBI. And what would that mean? I would need to see us come up and close above. So ultimately, I wouldn't be looking for as much reward here on this initial TP. About 94 ticks from the top here. So I'd probably keep a smaller stop loss, right? Probably around 40, 45 ticks. Still below the inverse. All right, so I'm going to start looking for longs here pretty soon. I just need to see us really start pushing above this 1 minute SIBI here. Right, because that was our initial point where we got a strong reaction off of at market open. So what I'm not going to do is jump into an aggressive entry here when we're actually bouncing off of this bearish for value gap. SMT, we did, let's see, where's the SMT at? We did come down and sweep this low, you're right, on NQ. So we do have SMT at the lows, right? So just more confirmation for these longs to step in. Ultimately, we'd be looking to catch this long up to this high up here, right? So we're looking for first TP around 26, I don't want to say that number. It's 3 6s in a row, 75. And then our second, our full TP, we'd be kind of looking for 26.80 right there. TJ McGrath, stay tuned for any reset codes. I know my FFN guys are going to be, I'm sure they're going to be sending out something soon. 93 tick candle. Yeah, we're looking a little bit volatile here. A little bit volatile. Just a little bit volatile right now. So, again, we're not even 5 minutes into the market yet, so we don't need to rush anything. We want to be patient for this entry. But I do want to start seeing these longs stepping in pretty soon. I just need to see inversion here. Give me that conviction that we're going to, continue long. Right when we do close above this high right here, I'm looking for a long position. Or even as we start to push above it, I'm starting to look for a long. Keeping my stop below the inverse. So that's what I'm looking for right now, guys. Still have a long bias right now. Still have a long bias. Let's go back to the hourly time frame real quick. All right, so we really want to see this hourly pushing above, getting displacement above these highs in the next 25 minutes. So that means on these smaller time frames, we want to see us start pushing. We want to see these longs start stepping in here. Let's see us come up in inverse right now. Right, so the aggressive entry, you'd be already looking to get in the longs right now, right? I might start looking to get in the longs right now. Now it's a little too late. It's a little too late because we ran too quick, right? I was about to get my aggressive entry right as we pushed above, but then we pushed about, 50 ticks before I could even get my entry. So I'm going to wait for us to get pullback now. Now I'm going to wait for us to get pullback. Did anybody look for that aggressive entry? Just letting you know, we do have some SMT at the highs right now, but we're looking very bullish here. If you did get the aggressive entry, I would probably look to keep holding this one personally. Right, I really wanted to get that aggressive entry, but we ran about 50 ticks before I could even jump in. So now I'm just going to wait for the pullback, see if we can pull back into the inverse. We do want to be careful here, though, with this SMT at the highs. Be careful with this SMT. Yeah, exactly. We need to see ES moving up as well. We need to see ES moving up. Okay, we just displaced. We got inversion. If we start to bounce from here, I will look for my entry. I will look for my entry here. Okay, guys, I'm going to look for my entry. So I just got an entry in the longs, just half a lot right here. Just half a lot. My entry is at 26.43, 50. So, again, this is aggressive because we do have SMT at the highs, but I'm looking for more of an aggressive entry right now anyways. And if this one comes down, oh well, I just got stopped out with half a lot. I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive here. Right, so I'm going to keep about a 45 tick stop beneath the inverse at 26.3250. All right, so I'm still in half a lot right now. I have not added into a full. If we can start bouncing, I'm going to add into a full here. Okay, ES is moving now. ES is moving. I just need to see NQ start pumping for me to add into a full. Okay, we're moving, we're moving. Let's see ES start pumping though. ES is not pumping enough for me to add into a full yet. I really want to see these longs. Remember, first TP is up here, guys. Right at this high, 2667. Around 2667 is going to be our first TP. But this one's kind of chopping. It's not looking like we want to fall through completely yet. So I'm just going to keep half a lot until I start seeing some more confirmation to add into a full position. All right, so half a lot, 45 tick stop. Pretty light risk on this trade so far, right? Pretty light risk on this trade. If this stops me out, that's okay, right? I'll just look for the next position. I just look for the next trade. Aggressive entry here. I'm okay with the aggressive entry. Remember, stop loss is down here, 26.3250. We're coming down close to it. We might stop me out here. We're still respecting the inverse, but we're not seeing any of the follow-through. We're not seeing any of the follow-through that I wanted to see here initially. And that's okay. We've just kind of started chopping on both ES and NQ. But I still like my conviction in this trade, right? I still have conviction in this trade. So even if this does end up losing, I'm okay with this loss because I really did have conviction. I do have conviction in these longs. We've been talking about it since market open. What's up, KT? So I'm trading on Fund X right now. That's why you don't see it. My entries and exits on here on TradingView. So that's why I'm just letting you know what my levels are. All right, so just got stopped there, guys. Half a lot stop. So now I'm still going to look for another entry, right? Still going to look for another entry. But I just want to wait for us to stop chopping around like this. Because I really did like that entry. I really did like the longs. But what did we see? We saw NQ, or we saw ES failing to push past the highs. So we saw a little bit of SMT divergence. And then we just kind of saw us chopping around a little bit on both indices. So now I'm going to be a little bit more patient for the next entry, right? Still have conviction in the longs overall. I still have my conviction. We had a great bounce off the 15-minute busy here. Great bounce off the 15-minute bullish breaker. So a lot of great setups, right? A lot of great conviction in this trade. The VIX was dropping. Just a bunch of good conviction. We finally inversed that 1-minute SIBI. But we're just getting the SMT all over the place, right? So if it's going to be one of those days, you know, that means I'm not going to be looking for aggressive entries anymore. I'm probably going to be looking for a lot more conservative entries. If we're going to see us not respecting our levels and not seeing follow through, then I'll probably be a lot more conservative on my trades, right? So we do have SMT at the lows here. ES just came down, swept that low. NQ is still holding above VWAP. We just created a 1-minute SIBI. Right here, we created a 1-minute SIBI. All right, so let's see if we're going to try and run through that SIBI here. So SMT at the lows, another SIBI created. So far, not loving the follow through that we've seen in the market, but I still have my long bias. So I still want to look for another solid entry. Right, so if we can hold above VWAP here, if we can hold this SMT divergence and we can inverse this 1-minute SIBI, I will look for another entry. I will look for another entry here, right? This time I'm looking for about 131 ticks from the top of this level. So I might be able to keep a little bit wider of a stop, maybe around 50, 55, 60 ticks. You know, depending on how much I want to risk here. All right, so that's what I'm looking at here, guys. So again, when I take a trade like that, I never have an issue with losing. I'm never scared of losing because I had conviction. If I didn't have conviction in that trade, yeah, I'd probably be upset about losing that trade, right? If I just took a dumb trade with no real conviction, no real analysis, then yeah, I'd have a reason to be upset. No reason to be upset. If you have conviction in a trade, you really see, you know, something in the market, you have good technical analysis, and it doesn't work out, you should not be upset with yourself. You should be happy that you stuck to your rules, right? That's the way I see it, at least. I don't know how you guys see it, but that's how I see it. Yeah, not a lot of follow through so far in this market, right? A lot of chop. A lot of chop. I want to catch at least the one move up to buy side, right? I want to at least catch the one expansion move up to buy side. And there's the reset code, guys. 50% off. Thank you, Blind. Trader Joe 50 is going to be your guys' reset code. Trader Joe 50. 50% off resets. Good until 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So you guys got about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 48 minutes technically. All right, guys, so I'm looking for inversion here again. I still don't like the way ES is looking, but once we see inversion here, I'm looking to target another long position. Looking to target another long. We got SMT at the lows. SMT at the lows. Now I want to see inversion here. YM got hurt. Is YM looking weak over there? Let me check it out. Let me check it out. Okay, so no inversion yet. We're starting to bounce a little bit off that fair value gap. I'm going to check out the VIX and YM. All right, let's see what YM's looking like over here. Oh yeah, YM is dumping right now. YM is absolutely dumping. So a lot of SMT here, a lot of divergence between YM and our other markets. Let's look at what the VIX is up to now. All right, VIX is starting to pump a little bit, so don't really love that. Don't love that too much. We're getting a lot of pullback on our higher time frames there on the VIX. So we might need to be a little bit more patient here. We might start seeing these shorts stepping in a little bit. These shorts might start stepping in a little bit here. What I really want to pay attention to, ultimately, I still have a bullish bias, right? I'm still going to have a bullish bias, but what I really want to see us do is have a strong close above this 1 hour SIBI. If we do not get a strong close above that 1 hour SIBI, then we might see the market start to drop a little bit down to London low. Ultimately, we did get some SMT up here where NQ took out the highs on the hourly and ES did fail to take out the highs. ES is getting a strong bounce off of an hourly SIBI. So the market is not looking like it's trying to fall through too much. So let's keep a close eye on that. Let's keep a close eye on that to see if these shorts are actually going to try and step in anytime soon. Because ultimately, I still do have my long bias, right, up to buy side. But if we start seeing more and more conviction that the shorts might want to step in, right, that's when we're going to start looking to target the shorts. But I still want to see if these longs can start pumping and come up and inverse this 1 minute SIBI here. All right, so really just have to stay patient. We tried our aggressive entry. We've tried our aggressive entry, had a lot of conviction in that trade, and ultimately the market just didn't want to fall through. Ultimately just did not want to follow through. All right, guys, but there's a reason that when I jump into my initial trade, or pretty much every trade I jump into, I'm always jumping into either a quarter or half a lot to start, mainly a half a lot, half of a full position, because you don't know exactly how the market's going to move if you're getting more of an aggressive entry at the start of the day. You haven't seen how the market's moving yet, so why should you add into a full position if you truly don't know how the market looks today? Right? I always recommend, this is my recommendation, this is what I do, is start out small. Start out really small, trade lightly. Once you see the market moving in the way you want to see it, that's when you look to start scaling into your trades a little bit more. But what I see too many people do is going super heavy right at the start, right at market open. They end up getting stopped out, they hit their daily drawdown, and they can't trade the rest of the day, right? Instead, if you see your setup, trade light. If it doesn't work out, you still have a bunch of room to be able to trade for the rest of the day, right? That's the way I look at it. That's why risk management is so important. Because right now, we're starting to see this market just chop around. We're not seeing any follow through. Very choppy here. Very, very choppy. We're still respecting the 15-minute bullish breaker. We bounced off of a 15-minute busy, which is why I still have a bullish bias right now. But when I'm not seeing the follow through, it makes me less likely to jump into a trade. Because it seems like right now we're in some more low probability price action. We really have to just wait for an expansion move here in the market. We have to wait for more expansion here. All right, guys. So question for you guys. When you scale into a trade, do you scale in with a quarter lot, with a half a lot, with a full lot? How do you guys like to scale into your trades? Because this is an important thing to understand as a trader. You need to know what you're comfortable with. Half a lot. Half a lot is good, right? I would always recommend either you do your pyramid entries, either you trade with pyramid entries, or you go half and half, something along those lines. Always 1 micro to begin with on a 50K account. All right, perfect. You're scaling in small. You're starting small until you see your conviction. That's what you should be doing. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 in the hole. When you mean 2 out of 3, let's say you took a loss with your 2/3 position. Are you still giving yourself a lot of room to trade for the rest of the day? I would assume so. Perfect. See, that's what matters. Because you could scale into 2/3 of your position, but still have a ton of room if you lose your first trade of the day. So that's why I always calculate my risk based on ticks. So I'm like, okay, if this is my full position, let's say my full position is 10 micros, that means I'm moving $5 a tick. So if I take a 50 tick loss, that's $250 loss. Okay, if my risk tolerance for the day, my daily loss limit is 500, that means I can take 2 50 tick losses, right? That's the math you have to start doing before you start taking any trades. Because if you blindly start taking trades without any real risk management plan, you haven't done the math, and you take a few losses in a row, you're going to see that your account is way down. And that's when you start to kind of over leverage, or you start to lose your accounts too quick because you never had a plan going into it from the first place. Right? So I definitely recommend to any of you guys out there that don't have a risk management plan, start trying to create one. Right, that's why in our Discord at Eternal Exchange, we have a full-time risk management coach. Full-time risk management and psychology and wellness coach, because he is helping our traders, and all of you guys that are in Eternal Exchange, you guys know, he's helping everybody keep a risk management plan and keep a steady mindset so that we're not blowing accounts left and right. Right? I think that's so important. So important. Right, we wouldn't have a risk management coach if it was just BS. It's the real deal. We need, if we can't do it ourselves sometimes, we need some guidance on how to go about it. Trade 903, you said, I'm not doing the morning session. Seems like choppy. Don't want to lose earned funded yesterday. There you go, man. Yeah, if you don't like the price action, stay far away from it. Stay away from it, man. 100%. No reason to risk capital, especially on a funded account. If you don't like the price action, if you're not comfortable with it, do not trade it. That's a great mindset, Trade 903. Great mindset. For those of you that maybe did over leverage and blew an account, Connor just sent a 50% off reset code for you guys. So if you want to use that, feel free to do so. Hopefully you don't have to reset, but if you do need to, it's there for you. All right, guys, so we have about 10 minutes until this hourly closes. We're starting to drop a little bit more aggressively now. We have hourly SMT at the highs. We're starting to respect this hourly SIBI here. So if we see us close on this hourly candle, very bearish, right? We come down and we close below. We get a break of structure or a market structure shift here on the 5-minute. We create a 5-minute bearish breaker by closing below this low. That's when you're going to see me look to target a short position down to London low, right? That's when my whole bias flips. And that's what I'm expecting more seek and destroy, but I would expect us to come down and come grab some sell side liquidity. As long as we're respecting this low and we're respecting, or we're inversing our 1-hour SIBI, respecting our 15-minute bullish breaker, right? I'm still looking for longs, but once we come down and disrespect those levels, that's when the shorts start stepping in. Hey, ¿qué pasa, Pulenta? No. Not Top Step. This is not Top Step. This is Funded Futures Network. This is Funded Futures Network. We have a whole day ahead. Yeah, exactly, right? Don't go and blow your account or take a bunch of losses in the morning if the price action sucks. Just wait until later in the day. Exactly. 100%. All right, so are we finally going to come up in inverse? Are we going to get a little bit of an AMD here? Right, we've been accumulating for a while. We still have this SMT at the lows. Accumulation, manipulation. Now we need to see distribution with an inverse of this 1 minute fair value gap. Excuse me. Let me drink some water real quick. So if we can inverse this 1 minute, I would start looking for longs again. But we need to see more expansion, more distribution here. No. Yeah, we're just joking with you. We're just joking with you. We're messing with you, man. Now, if I had a top step reset code, I'd give that one to you as well. But we got the FFN reset code. That's what matters here. Plus, yeah, guys, if you want to sign up for the Halloween deal there, buy one get one free, 35% off all accounts for FFN. Go use that code. Buy one get one free. Go use that code if you guys want to. Man, the chop is real right now. You know what's crazy, guys, is all these streams I've been doing so far. I think this is like the 5th or 6th stream I've done here with Flynn and Futures Network. Almost every single one has had extremely choppy price action, and I purposely switched to doing Tuesdays so that this wouldn't happen, so that we wouldn't be caught in those no news Mondays. And what starts to happen is we start chopping on a Tuesday now. So hopefully price action will start getting a little bit better. If we can get inversion here, that would be awesome. Yeah, yesterday ended up being a really good day of price action, and today so far has been a pretty bad day of price action. But that is just the humor of the market. I swear it's ironic. The market knows. The market's just singling me out every time. It's like, you know what? When Trader Joe goes on FFN, let's just be as choppy as possible. Yeah, exactly, right? All right, guys, we're getting inversion here. We're getting inversion. This is the initial setup that we looked to take before, right? We want to see us close above. We're starting to bounce. So if we can inverse, now I'm starting to look for a long position again, guys. I'm starting to look for a long again. Starting to look for a long again here. But I need to see us pull back. I'm not looking for an aggressive entry here whatsoever. Yeah, Isabel, what's the reset code again? Is it Trader Joe 50? Trader Joe 50, all caps. All right, guys, so these longs here, they're starting to run away without us. Again, I was not looking for an aggressive entry here whatsoever. I need to see us pull back, right? We just got the inversion. That's what we wanted to see, the first conviction. And then look at this. And now it's just running away from us. Now it's running away. That's okay. That's okay. We just got to wait for our setup here. As much as I've wanted to catch the long since market open, this has been, we just chopped. We got our initial entry here, really liked the entry, and then we chopped around for about 30 minutes. And then we finally get our next setup, and it runs away from us. And that's fine. That's the way the market's kind of moving today. It's really not wanting to follow through. So now we just have to wait. Look at this, guys. Look at ES just absolutely dumping here. We finally look like we're starting to break out. ES just absolutely dumps. We did just trade into a 1 minute busy. But after seeing the way ES is moving, I don't really trust this right now. Guys. This is not a very trustworthy market right now. Not a very trustworthy market. We need a trustworthy banger, exactly. This market right now is like my estranged uncle who showed up randomly once he found out that I had a business and wanted to be my business partner. Not trustworthy. No News Tuesday might be a thing now. Maybe. There's always an uncle like that. Okay, guys, so as much as I want to see the long step in there, it does not look like it's going to happen. ES is absolutely starting to dump again. Came right back up to the highs. Failed to get any follow through. We are about to get into silver bullet hour, right? We're almost at the end of this hour here. We've got just under 3 minutes. So as much as I would want to take this long entry off this fair value gap, I do not trust it. And if this one does pump and go to our TP, oh well, this is not a trade I want to take right now. This is not a trade I want to take here with seeing all of this chop on ES. The way the market's been moving so far, it does not look good. Let me borrow some money. Yeah, it's like the family members when one of the kids goes like pro in a sport, becomes a professional athlete, and then all of these family members start showing up out of the woodworks. Not trustworthy. I've been supporting you since you were a little kid. You haven't talked to me in 10 years. You guys might see that. If you guys start making some money from trading, just be aware that might be a thing that happens to you as well. Just be aware. You never know. You gotta know who to trust. Just a warning for you. All right, so we're coming back down. This is why I did not take the longs from here, right? This is why I stayed out. There's not enough telling us that we should be in a trade here. Basically what this market is telling me right now is do not take a trade or else I will absolutely destroy you. I will destroy your hopes and dreams if you try to take a trade. So we just inverse that 1 minute busy there. We traded back into the 1 minute inverse here. I just really don't like this here. That's very true, Deep. Very true. Hey, but when did you meet a girl from Colombia? This is the first I've heard of this. Or is this all an analogy? Yeah, ES is dying right now. ES is dying. So we have more SMT at the lows again. More SMT at the lows again. So we're about to close on the hourly time frame. Let's see if the hourly does end up inversing. Looks like we're still going to inverse here. And okay, so we still inversed the 1 hour SIBI here. Okay, so that's a good sign. Did we close inside of the 15 minute? Okay, we still respected the 15 minute bullish breaker. We still respected the 15 minute busy. So it's still like everything is still looking very bullish to me overall, but just absolutely no follow through in this market. Too much chop. ES is really holding this down. Yes, every time ES gets back up to the highs, it just melts, starts to dump. We get SMT, we start to pump again, we think we might break out, and then we melt again. So when I see the market looking like this, I'm more likely to stay out of it, right? More likely to stay out of it. We tried our aggressive trade already, and we saw how that worked out. Market did not want to do what we wanted it to do. Exactly, right? Every time. Look at those 15-minute wicks. Those are brutal. Look how ugly the past two 15-minute candles since market open. These are some ugly candles right here. Ugly. Ugly candles. No me gusta. But ultimately, let's see. We did inverse the 1 hour SIBI. Right? We did respect our 15-minute bullish breaker. So everything still looks bullish to me. But this might be one of those days where we have to wait for a long time until we finally see our breakout or we finally see some kind of follow through. I don't know if we're necessarily going to have a breakout, but at least some follow through up to external highs would be nice, right? Because we have these external highs, external buy side. Yeah, I know, trade on 3. If I just say I'm hopping off, the market might start moving. Yeah, I mean, I like the SMT again, right? We go here. We see we still have this SMT. Yes, came back down again, swept lows, and Q did not sweep lows. So we're still respecting our bullish levels here. But when you look at the market, what I recommend you do after the first like 30 minutes of the market, look at the 5-minute time frame. And if the 5-minute time frame looks anything like this, you probably want to stay out of the market for, a little bit longer. If the 5-minute looks like this and the 15-minute looks like this, you probably want to stay out of the market, right? This is just showing us, because sometimes you can't really see it as much on the 1-minute time frame. Obviously, we can see the chop and everything. But if we look at the 5-minute and we see it look like this, no follow through, no fair value gaps created since market open, right? This is when you kind of know the market is not going to be moving the way we want to see it move. I should probably stay out of the market, sit on the sideline, be a bench warmer, and just wait for coach to put me in the game. I'm not going to sub myself into the game right now. I'm waiting for coach to put me in. All right, so again, we'll keep hanging out here. We'll see if price action gets any better, in the coming 30 minutes or so. But if it's going to continue like this, we might really just have to not take any more trades here. And trust me, I do want to take a trade. I don't hop onto the stream and say, I don't want to take any trades. I'm looking to take a trade. Every single day, I'm looking for a trade. And there's just some days that don't allow us to take the trade. Market giving us the off day. For real. For real. So really, I'd just be waiting for the longs to step back in here. Right, that's really all I'm looking for right now. All I'm looking for is some longs. I guess so. Everybody's hungover from the bank holiday. Pretty much. Yeah, there was a few trades I wanted to take yesterday. I never ended up pulling the trigger, just because we were more focused on education during our stream yesterday. But price action honestly it looks pretty good in the AM session. It looks pretty good in the AM session for sure yesterday. Today, not so much. I had to take an off day from my cold shower this morning, just with this sickness that I have right here. I'm trying to keep it warm right now. I'm trying to clear out my sinuses. So warm shower for me. So this is probably the first day I haven't done a cold shower in a long, long time. Man, this price action. What is going on, guys? So yeah, we can look, like if you look at the news, here I can pull up Forex Factory here. All right, we can pull it up. We can look today, right? We had one news event this morning, Empire State Manufacturing Index, orange folder. Besides that, the only thing we have is some FOMC members speaking. That's it, right? And that does not give us enough volatility in the market to really move the market, right? If we look at the week ahead, tomorrow, no news Wednesday. We have one yellow folder. I consider that no news. Thursday, let's see what we have. Okay, Thursday is when we start talking, right? Thursday is when we have some volatility. We have some volume. We got a bunch of red folder. We got retail sales, core retail sales, unemployment claims, Philly Fed manufacturing, and then we got some more yellow folder, orange folder, right? So Thursday we have some more news. So we might see some more movement. Friday, we have some orange folder, yellow folder. So my expectation for this week would be that tomorrow, sadly, might be very similar to today. But then Thursday, Friday might be our days where we're actually looking for some expansion in the market. right? But when we look at our news and we see that there's absolutely no news coming out, or maybe like a few yellow folder, one yellow folder news events coming out, then we just expect the market to be choppy or at least be range bound. But when we see a bunch of red folder news events or a bunch of orange folder news events, that's when we expect the market to actually start moving a little bit, right? Because it's going to have some more volume, it's going to have some more volatility. I like that. That's what I want to. That's when I want to trade, because that's usually when we're offered more expansion in the market. So kind of the opposite trade 903. I like days that have news. I like days that have news because we're usually offered with more reward, right? It might be a little bit higher risk, but if you have your risk management plan dialed in, you can catch some nice trades, especially when the news comes out pre-market. That's my favorite. That's why like CPI and PPI days are my favorite days to trade, because we're almost always offered with almost the exact same thing that happens in the market every time we have that happen. If you guys saw last CPI PPI, we literally had both days where we took out our data low and then swept our data high. Both days that happened. So I like when that happens because it's a little bit, you can read it pretty easy. You can read the market pretty easy. And then when we have red folder news coming out pre-market, that's giving us some more volume, some more volatility to see some better moves in the market. I prefer that any day over no news. I will always prefer news over no news because that just gives us better opportunity. That's how I see it. I don't trade, I'm not going to trade during the news. I made that mistake on Friday. I went against my rules. That was the one time I've gone against my rules in like the past year. So that was frustrating, but I moved on from that already. That's in the past. But I don't like to trade the news. I won't be in a trade while the news is coming out. But being in the trade after the news, that's what I like, right? Giving it some time, giving it like 5 to 15 to 30 minutes after the news. That's when the market looks pretty good. Anyone take some recommended CMOS? I do not, but I've heard good things about CMOS before. Hey, there you go, Christian. Up 1,076 in this market. That's impressive, man. That's impressive stuff. So, again, we're just right back into the middle of our range, chopping around. We can chart out our 15-minute opening range, right? Our first 15-minute candle. So we could chart out this low right here. This would be our orb low, opening range breakout low. All right, and then we can chart out the high. This would be our 15-minute opening range high. So notice how we are right in the middle of this opening range. We are right in the middle of this opening range. We have not been able to break out on either side. We have not been able to break out on either side. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that you could have traded so far today that would have worked out so far really is pre-market. Catching that pump at pre-market probably would have been the only thing that we've seen so far today that's actually a decent, trade. I really liked our initial entry, our initial thought process here, but no follow through. Okay, are these shorts going to start stepping in? We will see. We got more SMT at the lows again. More SMT at the lows. I would not be surprised if we just completely come right back up again, right back into the middle of the range. Right, so we keep creating SMT between ES and NQ, where ES comes down and sweeps a low, NQ stays above. We start pumping a little bit back up to the middle of the range. We fall back. It's just the same exact pattern over and over again. Same exact pattern over and over again with no follow through. And that's why you don't see me taking any trades right now. Right? Unless I see a real breakout like I was talking about before. If I see a real breakout here of our opening range, maybe I will look for a short down to London low. But I need to see a lot of conviction before I do that. A lot of conviction before I jump into a short here. All right, so we're starting to drop. Let's see if this is actually a breakout here. Let's see if this is actually a breakout. Where would we be looking to catch this? Remember, I'd be looking to catch this down to London low. I wouldn't expect price to move too much further than that. We are right back into another 15-minute busy. So let's see if there's real follow through on this move or not. Right, we technically have not broken structure. We haven't gotten a market structure shift yet because we have not closed below any of these lows. So this truly could just be a liquidity sweep. So we want to be aware of that. We are in seek and destroy profile. So what would happen is we'd come down to sweep liquidity and then reverse right back up again. But we want to still look at this level to see if this is a possible, breakout. Are we going to start closing below? Are we going to actually come down for London low and be able to catch a nice trade? Right, because London low from this 1 minute is still about 200 ticks away. But that does not mean I'm going to take an aggressive entry here. I need to see confirmation. I need to see us trade into a fair value gap, get a strong bounce, or close below these lows, get a real breakout here. Give me a real trade entry. Right now we're starting to look like we really want to break out. Really want to break out. Right, so maybe if it was a normal day of price action, I would have more of an aggressive entry. Today is not that kind of day. But we are about to close below and get an actual break of structure on the 5 or on the 1 minute. We still have a few minutes until the 5 and the 15 minute close, but we're starting to look very bearish here. Looks like we really want to come for that London low right now. So let's see, you could take an aggressive entry off this 1 minute bearish order block here. 1 minute bearish order block, this is the aggressive entry. So far, good bounce off of that level. Very good bounce off that level for anybody that took that aggressive entry. But again, that's still aggressive. Still very aggressive here. ES wants to come for these equal lows, though. It looks like ES really wants to come for those equal lows. Looks like we want to push down to London low. That's what price action looks like here. Again, I'm not looking for the aggressive entry right now. But if you guys did just take that entry, right, I just called that out right off the order block. If you got that entry, you just caught around 80 ticks or so. Right, so you could even just look to take a TP already. Move your stop loss to break even, make it a risk-free trade. Right, because we really don't know how this market's going to react right here. We could get SMT at these lows, and we could see a complete reversal. Right, so I would think about taking a TP already. If I did take that aggressive entry, you probably would have already seen me take a TP. And then I would obviously be holding my stop at break even, and I would be looking, to take my next TP at London low, just in case we do want to break out a little bit further. But I would not expect us to go much lower than London low. I would expect us to take out London low and possibly see us reverse right back up. Just because that's our daily profile so far. But we just got a strong 15-minute opening range breakout to sell side. Look at how this 15 minutes about to close. We're about to close with complete displacement below our opening range. 15-minute opening range breakout here. So there's the displacement. Okay, let's see if we want to tap into this 1 minute SIBI up here. I would think about maybe taking an entry from here and just looking for a quicker scalp down to London low. If we got a nice bounce off of that level, I would think about this entry here. But we would need to see a very strong bounce off the 1 minute. I just don't love it too much. But that's a pretty good bounce so far. I don't like the wicks at the lows, though. I don't love the wicks. But my expectation would be for us to come sweep London low. So that's another entry right there. I'm sure some of you guys took the initial aggressive entry. I'm sure some of you just took that entry right there as well. Let me know if you guys did take the entries I called out. Right, even if I didn't take them, I just haven't loved price action so far today, which kept me a little bit more cautious from jumping into this market. But still trying to give you guys good entry levels, right? Because that was a pretty good bounce from there. There's that TP. So for my friends that did take that trade, if you got the aggressive entry from when I first called it out up here, right, you just caught almost 150 ticks right there, right? If you took that aggressive entry that I called out, you just caught almost 150 ticks. If you took the second entry I just called out, you just caught about 90 ticks, right? 80 to 90 ticks. So for my friends that are being more aggressive, there you go. That's your trade right there. That's the move from the morning. That's our AM move right there. Right? You could still technically hold on to this one if you want to with your stop at break even, but we did just get some more SMT divergence at the lows, so I'd be a little bit more careful. But this is our first real breakout. This is our first real trend on the day. So we could see continuation. Let's look at what levels we have below. Remember, we do have this 4-hour busy, and we do have an external low here. We have an external low on this hourly wick going into that 4-hour busy. So as much as I wouldn't expect us to continue to expand, there's still always a possibility that we do keep dropping with such a strong breakout here. But just be careful. Remember, like I said, once we take out London low, I'm not expecting us to drop much further. I would start looking for the reversal right back up, especially when we got more SMT here between ES and NQ. I would just be more cautious, right? If you're going to keep holding this trade, if you're going to keep holding the shorts, please at least have your stop at break even or have it into profit, right? Either take your full TP or have your stops in profit or at break even. Right, because then you can still look to catch the continuation. If this one does keep dropping, you can catch more of this trade, right? If this one wants to come down to the hourly low, you can look for, to catch about 200 plus ticks. So you don't have to cut it short, right? You don't have to cut the full trade right now, but just be aware of the things we're looking at, right? When we have SMT divergence, when we just took out a key previous session low, seeking a short profile type of day, you do want to be a little bit more cautious. Right, so let's say I did jump in, right? I was about to jump into that aggressive entry from the top off this order block. We ran away too quick. And then by this point, I just was not looking to take that trade, although I do think that was a pretty good entry. But let's say I did, for example, catch this trade. Let's say I got my entry somewhere up here around 25.98, right? Well, what I would do at this point was I probably would have taken my profit once we got that initial drop down here, around 86 or so. And then what I would have done is move my stop to break even, and then we made this fair value gap and we dropped. I would have taken more TP here, either full TP or more, and I would have moved my stop to above this 1 minute SIBI right here. Okay, and then once we create a bearish order block right here, I would then, if we drop again, I would then move my stop to above this bearish order block, right? So the way I like to trail my stops is above our structure or below our structure if it's a bullish move. So in a bearish move, I'm not going to trail my stop all the way down to here because that would be pointless. If I'm going to keep my position in, I'm still going to give myself room to run, right? So I would wait for structure to form, and I would move my stop to above our structure, so above a fair value gap, above an order block, right? If I'm expecting a reversal, then I would have just taken out all of my profit already, right? If this was me, if I did take the trade, I probably would have sold for full TP at London low. I'd probably be out of this trade completely personally, right? But I know that some of you might want to keep holding on to it just in case it does keep dropping. So just trying to give you guys all of the different, things that you could be looking to do at this point. So what would I do at this point if we started to reverse? If we started to reverse here and we come up and actually, got inversion of a 1 minute SIBI, that's when I would start looking for longs to catch right back up to this range again. Right, but as long as we're holding bearish structure, I'm not looking for longs. Oh, you're good. No, so this whole trade idea here was the opening range breakout, right? Opening range breakout to the low, and seeing us respecting bearish structure, right? So that's kind of this trade right here. It's just an opening range breakout trade in a nutshell. We're failing to move higher. SMT at the highs. Opening range breakout. That's the whole idea of this trade. So these shorts are going to keep going. So who's still holding these shorts right now? Anybody still holding these? Anybody still holding right now? There we go. Alex is still holding. Right, yeah. So if I would have jumped in, boom, that's 190 ticks right there. That would be 190 ticks. So let's say we do keep dropping. We keep getting more SMT, which is what I don't love to see. I don't love to see that we keep getting more SMT. NQ comes down, sweeps the low. ES fails to sweep the low. Right? When I see that happen, what we typically do see after is a reversal. Right? Where we create internal structure. We just soup kind of, right? We get a little bit of a soup here. We create an internal low, we come down and we sweep it, we get SMT right here. Typically, this is the type of pattern we see before a reversal. So something that I'm looking at right now, because at this point, I probably wouldn't be looking to catch a short position myself, just because we're already so low here. Unless we see a real good entry level, then maybe I would think about it. If we actually create another fair value gap, because we still do technically have some good reward down to that hourly low. But at this point, I'm not going to look for an entry off this 1 minute bearish order block just because of the type of structure we're forming. I'd really be starting to wait for some kind of reversal here. Right, we do now have this huge 5 minute imbalance up above. Creating a 15 minute imbalance up above. Notice how this 15 minute came down. We wicked below. We're still respecting this 15 minute bullish imbalance right here. Still respecting that level technically here. So right now I'm expecting to see a little bit of a reversal. Right, so I would just be patient if I'm going to take any other entries right now. But good job to those of you guys that did end up taking either of the two entries I called out. And at this point, it's up to you on what you want to do for the rest of this trade. Do you want to keep on holding? Do you expect us to keep dropping down to the hourly low? If that's your expectation, keep holding on to your trade and start moving your stop into profit, right? You keep your stop above this order block right here. If we create another order block, you can move your stop above that order block. But if you're someone that thinks, okay, maybe we might see the reversal here, then you might want to get fully out of your trade. So this is when it comes down to you having your own trading style and actually having a real trading strategy instead of just always following what I do, right? You want to have your own style because there's going to be plenty of different things you could do at this point that you might want to do it differently than me, right? Even if I would have sold everything at this low, you might be someone that expects the breakout to continue, so you might still be holding on to your trade. You might be more of a risky person, so you might have your stop still at break even right now. Or if you're not as risky, you might have your stop trailing into profit. So it's all about understanding what kind of trader you are. What is your trading style? What is your risk? Do you like to be more risky? Or are you less of a risky trader? But you'll never know until you start actually breaking down your strategy, until you actually start practicing these things. If we look further to the left on the 15 minute, we are pumping from the same OB as we did earlier. Let's check it out. Yeah, so we did trade into this order block here. Same with the fair value gap, right? We traded into a bullish fair value gap, bullish order block. We got a strong bounce off of it before. So we're going to see now if we get that strong bounce again. That's my initial expectation here, right? My initial expectation is a reversal back up to buy side. But right now, bearish order flow is still completely in control here. Still completely in control. So I would need to see a full inversion of at least this 1 minute SIBI before I even looked to long this market. Instead of taking risks in this PA, I'd rather take sips of whiskey. At least one of them goes down smoothly. Man, whiskey goes down smooth for you, huh? You must be drinking some good whiskey. I love the auto break even offset of about 50 ticks, so I'm guaranteed to a 1-to-1 if it goes my way. That way I don't let go of profits. Nice. So that's perfect. You know your plan. You know your plan. That's what matters. So now we're just kind of chopping around again, right? So for those of you that did take this trade, who is still holding and who sold for full TP? I would love to know. I would love to know. Alex sold half. Okay, so you're still holding on to half. Jack took a TP. So where are you guys trailing your stops to at this point? Do you have your stops above the fair value gap? Do you have your stops above the recent order block? Right, where are you trailing them at this point? Do you still have it at break even? above last sell side liquidity taken. So you mean above London low? Above this level right here? Oh, 580. Okay, I see. Okay, so you have it just above this 1 minute bearish order block. Oh, I see. Okay, below this low. Below this low, I see. Okay, yeah, that's a good level. That would be a level that you'd probably see me having my stop loss at as well if I was still in this trade, right? I would probably have my stop above that level as well. Depending where I got my entry. If we inverse this 15-minute, would you think PA goes down to 4 hour for value gap? Yes, I would, right? I would. If we actually close below this 15-minute, I would expect this one to come down to these lows. 100%. Right, but now I want to start seeing the reversal step in. That's what my expectation is here. The thing is, we might start chopping around for a while before that happens. So are Alex and Jack the only ones that are in this trade right now? All of the other 150 people, nobody else took this trade? Either of these setups here? Not in it. Okay, so for my friends that did not take it, why did you not take it? Oh, I see, Jack. Okay, so Jack, you took full TP. Okay, cool. I see. Christian, you made your profit, waited for reversal. Tony took a few scalps. Honest Money was fixing breakfast for your son. Fair enough. Fair enough. The kids, getting the kids ready for school. The Notorious still up from London last night. No need to force this personally. Fair. Deep, sticking to A+ setups. Glen Major. Oh, look at that drop. Look at that drop, guys. Look at that drop. All right, so we now really look like we want to come down for that low. That was a pretty aggressive drop right there. So no reversal yet. Looks like we're coming for that 4 hour. Looks like we are definitely coming for that 4 hour right now. But we're not going to leave us. We're not going to leave us a trade opportunity here. Hey, congrats to you, Alex. You kept your stop right at the perfect level. You kept your stop at the perfect level. That's exactly where I would have kept my stop as well. That's where I would have kept my stop as well. Man, so those shorts just came in aggressively there, right? So no trade, right? So no, I would not have taken this entry in the first place, just because I would have been waiting for us to retrace up to that 1 minute SIBI to get a re-entry, or to create another 1 minute SIBI down here to get an entry. Right, and this is what I told myself after our initial trade, right? Here's my reasoning. After my initial trade, I said, okay, I'm not going to take any more aggressive entries for the rest of the session. That was my rule I created. I said no more aggressive entries. So when I saw us do this, to me that was an aggressive entry still because of our price action, right? This might not have been as of an aggressive entry. I just did not take that one. But when I see price dropping so aggressively, if it's an aggressive entry, and I told myself I'm not taking an aggressive entry, then I'm not going to take the aggressive entry, right? I'm going to stay out of the market. That's why I stayed out, personally, right? But that's why it's so important for you to have a good understanding of your own trading strategy, because you might have wanted to take the entry. You might have been more aggressive. All right, guys, this one just keeps going. This one keeps going. So more aggressive of a drop than I was expecting originally. We are running right through that entire 4 hour busy right here. Running right through the 4 hour busy. Very, very strong candle here. So, at this point, again, I would have to wait for a very strong retracement move for, me to start thinking about taking another entry here. The banks are back. Yep, the institutions are back indeed. Won 500, lost 200. I'm done for the day. All right, so you're up 300. There you go. Yo, Johnny Cash. Dude, long time no see. Had to disappear to work on my discipline. Respect, man. Respect. We miss you, man. We miss you. Hey, Alex, as long as you stuck to your plan, there's nothing to be upset about, right? You just caught an amazing trade. Okay, so yeah, we do have yesterday low down here. If we're going to see a continued drop, we might see us come down to previous day low. It's definitely a possibility here. Did we just trade into a 1 minute? Okay, we just traded into a 1 minute here, guys. I might look for a short entry here. Let's see what liquidity we have still resting below. All right, let's see on the hourly time frame. Do we have external? Our next external low is not down until previous day low. It's not down until previous day low. So I do want to be more careful at this point when we've seen such a strong drop. Taking the first time we trade into a bearish 1 minute fair value gap is a little bit more risky, but we might see this one start dropping from here. So I just need to find where our liquidity is. Where are our swing lows here? All right, we got swing low here. We got swing low down here. So a bunch of internal down here. Bunch of internal liquidity. So let's see if these shorts are going to continue. These shorts look like they want to continue here. Okay, so here's the aggressive entry I would look for now. If we close below this 1 minute bearish order block here. If we close below this 1 minute bearish order block. All right, we create the 1 minute bearish order block. We tap back into it. I'm taking it short right here, this level. I will take this short. I will take this short. Did anybody get this fair value gap entry? I should have just taken that fair value gap entry. But I will still look for shorts down to this swing low and down to previous day low. All right, so I'm looking for the short here. I want to see us create this order block. I want to see us trade into it. Once I see the reaction, I'm getting in a short position. First TP would be around 242575. Full TP would be at previous day low, 238325. But now I got to see us trade back into a fair value gap or into the order block. And this one is running away again. So congrats to you that took this aggressive entry here. I wouldn't even say it was too aggressive, but pretty good entry. So strong drop off the 1 minute there. So anybody that did take that entry, congrats, Glenn. How many ticks was that? That's almost 300 ticks. That was almost a 300 tick drop from this next entry that I just called out. 300 ticks. That's crazy. That is crazy, guys. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so I'm still waiting for my entry. I want to catch this down to previous day low. I'm still waiting for my entry here. So maybe I shouldn't have told myself. Maybe I should have told myself to take the aggressive entries. No, this was not my expectation today, right? I don't think this was a lot of people's expectations today. After seeing our chop for so long, I didn't expect us to just drop hundreds of points, right? Even if we did expect the shorts to come in, I didn't expect them to come in this aggressively. So now I'm going to wait and see if we get pulled back here. Look for my next entry. Look to catch it down to previous day low. If we can pull back into that fair value gap, that would be nice. Give us like a 300 tick reward. That would be a very nice level to short off of. We just took out our next liquidity level. So we don't have any liquidity until previous day low here. So I really expect us to target this previous day low. So if you did take this entry up here, or you're still holding your initial entry from all the way up here, personally, I would probably keep holding this until we took out yesterday low. Until we take out previous day low. I'd probably keep holding this. So we're going to definitely have some SMT divergence here. ES is not going to take out previous day low anytime soon. And NQ is about to take out previous day low without giving me another entry opportunity. That drop is crazy. 800 ticks for my first OB entry is insane. That's insane. All right, guys. So for my friends that took any of these entries, you are probably up very, very big right now. Let's see. For my, and this is not to give anybody FOMO, and I'm not going to get FOMO from it either. But this is the first entry I called out all the way up here. This is the initial entry. Obviously, I probably should have taken it, but I had my reasons for not. But yeah, that's 836 ticks right there. 836 ticks from our initial entry level. And then I called out another one from here, right? So even from there, that's still 760 ticks. Then I called out another one from here. And from there, that's another 400 ticks, right? So yeah, I might not have caught these trades, and that doesn't bother me whatsoever. It is what it is. I had my reasoning for not being in a trade, right? But for those of you that took those entries, props to you, man. Props to you. Pretty crazy drop. Oh, geez, you got in last night? Let's go, Wild West. What is your profit on that one? Dude, that means you just caught over 1,000 ticks on that. All right, previous day low just got taken out. Bash, 500 away from getting funded. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. Probably half a mil. Probably. Okay, so we just took out previous day low. That is absolutely insane. Insanity here. Insanity. Crazy stuff here. So now we have big SMT, right? Which we'll see if that even does anything. We'll see if we do get the reversal here. But look at how ES is nowhere close to previous day low. NQ just took out previous day low. But we are very bearish. So going into lunch hour, going into London close reversal in about an hour, I would expect to see, possibly us to come try to rebalance some of this range after such an aggressive drop. Does that mean anything that the lowest point? So what do you mean like this low that we just created? It does mean something, right? Because the lowest point of our previous day and the lowest or the highest point of our previous day are very key levels. They're very key levels. When we take out previous day high, previous day low, and one of our other, if NQ does, ES does not, then sometimes we do see a reversal, right? We do see a reversal in the market. But with such a bearish move, this one might see a continuation. We might just see NQ keep dropping until ES reaches previous day low. So that's what we'll look out for here. 2 micros. Dude, you made $1,000 with 2 micros. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you did actually catch 1,000 ticks. Very nice trade. Did you just wake up to that? That's pretty nice. That's a good way to wake up right there. Okay, so if we keep dropping, let's start looking for our next liquidity levels here. We have swing low here. We have swing low here. These are all external liquidity levels. We have swing low here. We have swing low here. All right, so a bunch of external liquidity. We can look for internal liquidity. Same levels on the 15, so it's all internal and external liquidity here. So I think we're going to keep dropping right now. I think we might keep dropping. So, again, I still have to wait for my next entry. We didn't trade into that fair value gap, so I couldn't take that entry. In all of this move, we never traded back into a fair value gap, except for up here, so I couldn't get an entry anywhere here. So now I'm going to look for the next order block entry right here. Can we trade back into it? The issue with this now is that this order block is 160 ticks, right? So very volatile here. So let's see if we can get a bounce from here. If we can get a nice bounce from here, I will look for an entry in the shorts again off this order block. One minute bearish OB here. Let's see if we start to reject. If we start to reject, I'll look for an entry. Let's go, Jonathan. 700 ticks. So far, So far, you're up 3,600. That's insane, man. Good stuff. That's crazy. Okay, so no rejection yet off of the order block. No rejection yet. So far today, we have been rejecting off our order blocks pretty hard. This one is not rejecting. I don't like that. I don't like that we're not rejecting. So this is not where I would look to take a short right now anymore. After seeing such an aggressive up-close candle. Very aggressive up-close candle. I'd probably be waiting now. I probably would not look to short this. What I won't do, guys, is watch this whole move go down, not have my entry, don't take a trade, and then try to force an entry down here, and then get stopped out because the shorts are not going anymore, right? I'm not going to do that. I got to see a real reaction for me to jump into a short. All right, so we're starting to move back up. Starting to move back up a little bit. All right, we just tapped into a 2-minute imbalance here. Let's see if we get some kind of reaction. We have a 1-minute imbalance up here. Still respecting our bearish order block so far. So I want to see some structure here. If I can see some good structure, you know, I'll still look for shorts if we have the opportunity. If we are given the opportunity here, I will still look for another short position. I mean, so far we don't look like we want to reverse whatsoever. Not right now. I would not start looking for longs until I see us start inversing, right? So like, let's say we come up and we inverse, you know, some 5-minute fair value gaps, or we create a reversal pattern on the 5-minute or the 1-minute time frame. We create a bullish breaker, something along those lines. That's what I would think about, you know, starting to long. But I'm not really going to long in such a bearish market unless we see like a London close reversal coming up in about 50 minutes. We see a bunch of inversion. We see a reversal pattern. That's when I would think about longing, but not until that happens. Not until that happens for sure. All right, so we'll see what we do here at this order block imbalance above. Let's see if we come up in inverse or if we're going to get a strong bounce again. I want to see a little bit more structure built, a little bit more 1-minute structure here. All right, what do I mean by that? Let's say we create a bullish for value gap, and then we come down and inverse the bullish for value gap. Then I would look to jump back into another short, right? I would look for the shorts again to catch it back down to the lows. Let's see if ES inverses this 1 minute here. We do have a 5-minute SIBI above now. 5-minute SIBI above. So this is now a very key level, right? If we start running through this 5-minute SIBI, we might start seeing some kind of reversal or stronger retracement move. If we trade in that 5-minute SIBI, we get a strong bounce off of it. I'm looking for the shorts to continue right back down again. So we'll see what happens here. All right, and I hope you guys know that I'm at the point in my trading where, okay, if I didn't get my entry here, I didn't get my entry, right? I'm not going to get FOMO about not taking this trade. I just don't do that anymore. Because I've learned the hard way that every time I got FOMO in the past, I ended up taking some pretty terrible trades and blowing a lot of accounts. So I stopped doing that. I really could care less. I've detached myself from that feeling completely. Right? So you might be thinking, why is Trader Joe not upset right now that he just missed out on an 800 tick move? Because it is what it is. It happened. I can't change the past. I move on to the future. I stuck to my plan. Okay. Next trade I'm looking to take. That's the way I think about the market. That's where I've gotten to with my emotions, and I think that's what most people need to get to. Because I'm sure a lot of you right now did not take the trade. You have a ton of FOMO, and you might be forcing trades right now that you should not be forcing. You might be trying to force these shorts right now, even though there's nothing telling you should jump into the short yet. Right? Or you probably tried to start catching a reversal. You started to try to catch a falling knife, trying to take the longs while the market's dumping, just because you had FOMO, right? That's exactly what you don't want to do. So now we are tapping into the 5-minute SIBI here. Let's see if we're going to come up and inverse it. Nvidia's moving like crazy. Nvidia's pumping right now or what? Nvidia does play a huge factor in this market. That's 100%. All right, so we just closed above that order block. We just tapped into the 5-minute SIBI. A little bit of SMT here at the highs on the smaller time frame, on the 1 minute. So I'm just going to wait and see if we do come up and inverse the 5-minute. Maybe I'd look for a quick long scalp, back up to rebalance the market a little bit. If not, if we start to dump off this 5-minute, I'll look for a short position back to the lows. Thanks for saying that, Tony. I truly think that's important, though. If you do the same exact thing every single day, you'll find consistency. Win or lose, do the same exact thing. Same exact risk management plan. Same exact discipline every single day. Just imagine where you'll be at in 3 months or 6 months. You'll be a completely different trader than you were before. What is the support zone here if we want to re-enter? Right, okay, so that's a good question. Well, the first level is this 5-minute SIBI, right? That's the first support level that we're looking at. Or, excuse me, sorry, you said support for longs, not resistance. Support, okay. Support for longs, right? I would be looking for, I thought you were saying resistance for some reason. If you're looking for a reversal here, right, you're looking for the longs, I would be looking for us to inverse this 5-minute first. I'd be looking for us to create some 1-minute bullish for value gaps. So far, we have not done that whatsoever. So there's no reason yet, in my opinion, to be longing this until I see some better technical analysis levels. Right, until I see us start inversing and creating real bullish order flow. To me, there's no way you should be longing this just yet. Right, you should be, I will wait to long this because again, we just traded into a 5-minute SIBI. We completely respected it, came back down, closed below. So until we can start pushing through that and creating some bullish order flow, I will not be taking any long position yet. But right, so now that we start seeing us breaking out, okay, cool. I'm waiting for a fair value gap to form. Once we start forming these fair value gaps, we inverse this 1-minute SIBI. Boom, I'm looking for a long to catch us, take us back up. This is when we want to use our fib to figure out where's the equilibrium of this range. Swing high to swing low. Equilibrium's right here. So we could catch this one right up to that fair value gap there, right? That's the equilibrium. 100 points, 100 point pullback is crazy. Yeah, we came all the way down to 331 and we just pulled up to 428. That is literally, just about 100 point pullback. Right, pretty wild stuff here. Pretty big moves today in the market when we don't really have much news. So I want to see if we're going to at least try and pull back up into the premium of this range. If we don't, we'll just be looking for the next short opportunity, from a bounce around this level. We're going to be creating a 15-minute bearish imbalance here as well. So right now this market is not worth trading here. It's a little bit too slow. We're not really creating good order flow. Right, no fair value gaps. A lot of long wicks here. So not really any entry levels yet. Not really any entry levels. And for my friends that did catch any of that short, definitely recommend you you hold on to those profits. Hold on to those profits and walk away. Unless you want to, you know, I mean, you could look to risk a little bit if you want to. That's up to you. But if I caught that short, I would not be trading anymore. I would be done. Right? If I caught any of this move, I would be out. I would not be looking to trade anymore because that was a pretty big move. All right, let's see if we start to create some bearish order flow off this 5 minute. Yes, I do. I do. If someone doesn't mind sending the link for Eternal Exchange for our Discord, that would be great. There it is right there, J Musty. That is our server right there, Eternal Exchange. Of course. Yeah, and that's the other thing you can do too, right? If you took your trades on one funded account, let's say, maybe now if you still want to trade, go look to trade some evals or go look to trade a different funded account. Switch it up a little bit. Hold on to those profits. Don't have an amazing day of trading and then go lose all of your profits just because you got greedy. You're going to be very upset at the end of this day if that's what you do. Because I have done that so many times, guys. I had a great day trading. I got so greedy. And then I just give all of my profits right back to the market instead of just walking away and waiting for the next day. And it's very easy to let that happen. Easier than you would think. I'm sure pretty much all of us have been through that at some point. Okay, so this is now where we're starting to look for the longs. Starting to look for the longs here. Right, we're getting an inversion of the 5 minute Cibi. We have our EQ up here. We're looking for the longs to step up to the EQ of this 1 minute dealing range. All right, we're creating a fair value gap. So this one might run away and not give me an entry level. If that's the case, that's fine. I can't do anything about that. Because look, we finally inversed the 1 minute. We haven't retested the inverse. We haven't pulled back, so I can't take an entry yet. This is the inverse right there. So I would need to see us create a bullish fair value gap here, and then I would target a long entry off the bullish fair value gap. I would look to catch it up to the equilibrium, probably up to this fair value gap. That's the trade I'd be looking for here. Keep my stop below this fair value gap here, below this wick of this fair value gap candle. We're about to get inversion of the 5 minute. And we're not pulling back. We're not pulling back, right? So even if we expected these longs, we're not given the entry level yet. We really need to see us trade back into that fair value gap here. All right, we got inversion. Can we come back? Can we pull back into that fair value gap? Give me a real entry level. Because what I won't do is get an entry up here and keep my stop right inside of that fair value gap. That's just not smart. I want to see pullback into our real A+ setup here and then take the longs. Now, if you're being aggressive, obviously you could have taken the entry right as we started to close above the 1 minute Cibi, right as we got 1 minute inversion. That would be the aggressive entry. But I really wanted to see pullback here, take this long up to the equilibrium, up to this fair value gap, and then see if we're going to drop again back down to the lows. All right, well, we're making our way up there. We're not coming back. Not giving me my entry level. I'm trying to pass a 150K count, and I'm only 2K away from passing. There we go. Let's go, Annan. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Discipline, discipline, discipline. You'll get there soon enough. You don't have to pass it today. You do not have to pass it today. As cool as that would be, don't focus on passing it today. Just focus on continuing the same exact thing, trying to make consistent profit until you're there. Man, we are so close. We just tapped into another 5-minute Sibi up here. This is around the level that I want to see us get to. Can we make it? Yeah, so this is just another example of, okay, well, I had the entry model. We just didn't pull back into my level for me to take the trade, right? That's what it is. That's fine. I had my entry model, expected these longs to step in up to here. Didn't trade back into my entry model, so I can't take the entry. Simple as that. We are almost at the end of this hour. Strong pullback. Crazy pullback here. Right? Our low was all the way down at like 330. We have pulled back all the way up to what? 430. So that's, yeah, over 100 points. 434. Over 100 points of pullback here. But throughout this whole move right here, there hasn't been one entry model until right here. Okay, so now we tap back into the fair value gap, but that's a pretty aggressive move down. Pretty aggressive move down. Let's see if we're going to respect this fair value gap and start pumping, or if this is where we start dropping again. I don't like how crazy that candle is. If we come down and inverse this 1 minute, boom, we're looking for shorts again. We're looking for shorts again. All right, looks like these shorts are going to come back here. Still need to see an entry model, though. Still need to see an entry model. We just tapped back into the 5-minute inverse here. Looks like these shorts are going to start stepping back in again. But yet again, we can't take the trade. I can't take the trade until I see a real entry model. Uh-oh, Fabio, is that what I think it is? Ooh, let's go. Let's go, Fabio. Good stuff. Uh-oh. Netanyahu officially approves plans to attack Iran. Oh, isn't that just awesome? Isn't that just awesome? I guess that would explain the drop. All right, so shorts are coming back in here. Shorts are definitely coming back in. Now I just need to see us tap into a bearish fair value gap here. Again, if we run away, we run away. I need to see my entry level. But we could catch a trade all the way back down to low of day here. This one could come all the way back down to low of day. So now I want to see a 1 minute bearish fair value gap here. We're about to close in the hour, so we might see some manipulation. We might see some manipulation here. But I want to see if these shorts are going to come in, because we're looking at around 200 to 300 ticks of profit here. And China just surrounded Taiwan with a training exercise. More awesome stuff. Just so cool. All right, so we just closed on the hour here. I just want to see us trade back. Looks like these shorts want to step right back in again. We just got to be careful around this level with the new hour, 15-minute Sibi created above. But that was a pretty strong bounce off the 5-minute Sibi up there. So now I want to see if we trade up into this 1 minute bearish fair value gap, do we give us a real entry level? Can we give us a real entry level here? News. What news do we have? What news do we have? Tuesday. It is 11 a.m. Fed inflation expectations. Okay. So guys, this might be another example of us price running away from us and not giving us our entry level, like our actual entry model here. I want to see us tap back into this fair value gap. Give me the entry level. I want to see a bounce off that entry level. Jump into a short, catch it down to these lows. All I'm asking for is 300 ticks. Is that too much to ask for, guys? Is that too much to ask for? Dubai getting involved in war. That's the first I've heard of that. All right, guys, so I'm just waiting for the pullback. I'm waiting for the short right here. Waiting for the short. I know we've been on here for a while. Waiting for the short opportunity. Let's see us tap into this 1 minute here. Start to get a bounce. If we can bounce from this 1 minute, boom, I'm looking for a short again. Okay, we just tapped into the 1 minute. Are we going to bounce off of it? Are we going to bounce? That's my question. I didn't even think that Dubai had a military. I mean, I'm sure they do, but I feel like I've never seen it before. Okay, now we're running right through this level. So it looks like we might actually want to go target the 50% or that 15-minute civvy. So we just completely came up and we are inversing this 1 minute here. So it looks like we do want to target the 15-minute civvy up top. This is why I always wait for a reaction off my levels, guys, before I jump into an entry. This is why I'm not being aggressive today, because this was kind of my expectation for more moves like this to happen. So I'm still okay with being very patient for this setup here, because I do think we're going to have another nice trade setup pretty soon. Okay, let's see. We're bouncing. This could be the short opportunity here. This could be the short here, guys. All right, guys, I'm going to target a short here. Off this bounce. If we don't see follow through right away, I'll just cut it and wait for us to go into the 15-minute. So my entry is around 399.50. So I got filled pretty low on that entry. I definitely wanted to catch it up a little bit higher. Okay, so this one might need to get cut pretty soon here. I might need to wait for a re-entry. Just half a lot though, but I might need to wait for a re-entry once we tap into that 15-minute civvy. Right, because we've already moved a lot. So I'm going to keep my stop just above, right, around 60 ticks here, half a lot. 24.14.50 is where I'm going to keep my stop. I'm still going to keep half a lot right now. Just half a lot. Again, because we still could target that 15, but ultimately, I want to see these short step back in. Here. Because we got such a nice bounce off that 1 minute, both of our 1 minute civvies. And this is our first real retracement move that has actually given us an opportunity here. Okay, here we go. I might add into a full if we can start to drop, right? If we can give me another entry opportunity to add into a full, I will. I still want to wait. I want to see us come down and close below this low before I do that. I would want to see us close below this low before I add it in. Just because I don't like the fact that we still have the 15-minute above. I don't like that we haven't tapped into the 15-minute. So if we can close below this low, get retracement, I'll add into a full. But until then, I'm just going to keep my half position. So about a 60 tick stop. I want to at least look for I'll probably look for about 180 tick first TP. About a 1 to 3. Full TP down here. Or if we're kind of stalling around, if we do drop for about 120 ticks, I'll look for a TP around 120 ticks. So this one's stalling a little too much here, right? I don't really like this stalling right now. I wanted to see instant follow through. That's why I really want to see us close below this recent low. Because if we do that, then I would expect us to get a continuation. But if we can't break that low, then I don't think we're going to get continuation here. Yeah, more long wicks here. We're not seeing the breakout. We got to see the breakout. Got to see the breakout here. Can we break out? Okay, so far about 50 ticks. 60 ticks to this low, so I really want to see us break out of this low. Right, we could look around these lows for a first TP. if we want to, around 120 ticks. It's just going to depend on if this one does break out and how aggressive it breaks out. Here we go. Let's see if we can close below here. Let's see if we can close below and get that continuation move. If we get a closure below, I would keep on holding. I would probably keep holding for a TP around 180 ticks. Notice how we just got SMT. We just got SMT at the lows. We didn't get follow through. Might have to cut this one here. Might have to cut this one here. Wait for a re-entry, guys. Yeah, I'm going to cut this, guys. I just cut this. All right? Around break even. Because, look, we were about to follow through. We didn't get closure below. We got SMT divergence at the lows. We're chopping around. If this one would have closed below, I would have kept holding on to this, right? And even if this one does go fall through, oh well. But when I see things like that happening, when I see SMT divergence, we see a long wick like that, we don't have a stop loss at the best level. It's not above the highs. I'm not going to hold on to that trade. And oh well, if this one does come back down, it ends up following through, I'll still look for a re-entry if we do get the closure below, right? If we do get the closure below, I'll look for a re-entry here. I just don't like when I see a 15-minute SIBI above and we keep stalling around this level. We don't get a break of structure. But if we get the break of structure here, I'll look for a re-entry in the shorts here. If we can get break of structure, I will look for a re-entry. So we did close below this previous low. So that's what we wanted to see happen. Right, so did anybody still hold this one? Anybody still hold this one? That wasn't a trade I was gonna let go hit my full stop loss there after seeing what we just saw. Right, look at ES. ES is respecting a 1 minute busy. Then we get SMT divergence. Right there. Look at that SMT. And then we have a 15-minute SIBI above. Right, not really a trade that I'm gonna look to hold on to after seeing all that happen. As much as I still have conviction in the shorts, right, as much as I still think that was a pretty good trade, at least the idea of the trade, just not really something I'm going to keep holding. All right, so we'll see if we're given one more entry opportunity. If we're not given one more entry opportunity, then I'll just probably end the stream, but I want to see at least one more opportunity here. These shorts still look like they're in control now, right? They look like they're back in control. We need to see ES breaking through this fair value gap though. If we can create this 1 minute bearish order block, that would be nice as well. We could take the entry off the 1 minute bearish order block and still be looking, you know, for almost 200 ticks of TP there. Some more SMT divergence. Not seeing the follow through yet. More SMT right here. ES still can't break the low. Can't break through that fair value gap. So it looks like we just don't want to get that follow through yet. Not yet, at least. If we can break this low, though, if we can create this fair value gap and we can see ES dropping, I will look for a short off this order block. Okay, we have a 5 minute order block up here now. We just created a 5 minute bearish order block here. We are testing yesterday's low at the moment. Yeah, we are right around yesterday's low. We are right around yesterday's low. I would like to see us continue short here. ES is kind of holding us back right now, though. We're starting to get a little bit choppier, a little bit slower. Okay, we just tapped into our 5 minute bearish order block. But we still have not created the 1 minute bearish order block. I really do want to see this one come back for the low, though. The closer we get to London close, which is in about 20 minutes, the more likely we are to see a reversal in the market. So the less likely I am to take a short. So like within the next 10 minutes, I'll probably be less likely to take a short if we're still not seeing a fall through here. All right, so no order block created here. We're testing the 5-minute OB right now. Coming back into the 1-minute SIBI. So just this is now where we would look to see if we get the reversal here, right? Because this would be a bullish breaker, and we are close to London close. So if we closed above this high up here, that's when I start looking for the longs. Right here, if we close above that high, I'm looking for longs. As long as we're still respecting this level, we're still looking bearish. I'm still looking for the last short down to this low. Let's see if we actually create a fair value gap here. Let's see if we create a 1-minute busy here. All right, so why would this be a reversal pattern? Low, high, lower, low. If we displace the highs, that's a bullish breaker. Then we're looking for more of a rebalance of the entire range. Up here, right? I know we've got a bunch of stuff charted out up here, but we look for AM high to AM low. So I would use my fib all the way from here to here, right? And this level right here is technically our AM range equilibrium here. Need to zoom in a little bit. So that's our AM range EQ. So that would be the level if we do get a reversal. That's where I would expect us to head to. That's where I would expect us to go. Right, so let's say we do get the reversal pattern here. We form a bullish breaker around London close. I'm looking for a long up to here for about 240 ticks, right? Around 200 ticks. But we might need to wait for that to happen, right? We might need to wait. I don't know if we're going to see that happen just yet. We might chop around for a while, so we might need to take a break from the charts for a little bit and then come back around London close or around lunchtime and see if we get that reversal. We'll see if it happens within the next few minutes. If it happens within the next few minutes, we'll take a long. If not, we will stay out of this market until a little bit later. Right, so far today, I would say I'm happy with the session because ultimately what am I here to do? I'm here to help you guys, here to give good trade calls for you guys. So, even though the trades I've taken haven't followed through like I wanted them to, these trades that I called out and didn't take, I know a lot of you guys took and you've made some good money. So that's what I'm happy about. Obviously, I would rather make some money as well. But it is what it is. I just didn't get my entries where they didn't follow through like I wanted, but very small losses for me. And this second one was about a break-even loss right here, just a few ticks in the red. The first one was a half a loss lot for like 40, 45 ticks. So nothing for me to be upset about here. All right, let's see if we're going to start to inverse some 1-minute bearish for value gaps, or yeah, this one right here, this one right here. We close above this level, we create a bullish breaker. I am then looking for the longs from here. Okay, so the longs are starting to step in. I would be looking to catch these things all the way up to here. All the way up to there. But I need to see us close above this level first. Maybe even create a bullish unicorn on the 1-minute here. All right, this is the London close reversal. I talk about this very consistently in the Discord, guys. In my community, we talk about this London close reversal. I think it's happened the past 6 trading days. We've seen the actual London close reversal happen. Right, so we're getting close to that London close reversal right now. 11:30 a.m. Eastern time is the London close reversal. That's when we're looking for it. Okay, we just formed the breaker. We just closed above that high. So now this entire up close candle right here is our bullish breaker block. That is the bullish breaker right here. So technically we do have a unicorn. So if we can come down and bounce off this 1-minute, this would be a good entry level from right here. All right, we could look to catch it up to the highs for a first TP here and then look to try to keep holding up to AM range EQ. Right, this is that 15 minutes, so this would be a great level to take our first TP at, just in case we do want to bounce off the 15-minute imbalance. Right, so we just got inversion of a 1 minute. We created a bullish breaker on the 1 minute. Technically a bullish unicorn with a low high, lower low, displacement of the highs. I don't love taking an entry from up here, but if you want to take that entry from here. You're just not going to have a very good stop loss level. You're not going to have the best stop loss level. But if you want to take that aggressive long entry from here, so far today, every time I've said that, it's ended up being a pretty good entry. So maybe I should just take it. I just don't like getting an entry from all the way up here, having my stop way too high, and then we do retrace back into the unicorn. Right, but let's say we do trade into this 15-minute SIBI. We see a lot of continuation. Cool, I'll just look for my next entry, next fair value gap entry, to take us up to AM range EQ, and I'll be satisfied with that. But what I would love to see is us create some equal highs up here, trade back down to the unicorn, target along from here up to equal highs, take a TP, hold on to some runners up until AM range EQ all the way up there. That would be my preferred trade. That would be what I really would want to catch right here. Let's see if we do that. Looks like we really want to hold above the breaker right now. I don't know if we're going to want to come all the way back down. All right, so is anybody in an aggressive entry right now in these longs? Is anybody in the aggressive entry, or are most people waiting here? No, that could be a decent entry level as well, right? That's another confluence for the aggressive entry, right? This inverse 1 minute. That could be another confluence. We did trade, barely tapped right around that inverse. Could be another confluence there. Right, we just did tap into that. Excuse me, guys. But I do like that we just created some equal highs, which is why I would love to see us come down into this fair value gap down here. Or even this 2 minute right here as well. Okay, let's trade into the 2 minute at least to look to target along here. This is why I didn't want to take the aggressive entry myself. Right, because if you take the aggressive entry every single time, it might work out sometimes, but ultimately you will get stopped out more than you do see good results. Which is why I'm a lot more conservative, even still. All right, so we're in the 2 minute. We're about to trade into the 1 minute unicorn here. This is where I want to look for my long entry. This is where I want to look for my long entry here. Okay, let's see us tap into the 1 minute unicorn. We still haven't tapped into it. We still have not tapped into it yet. Oh wait, we did tap into it. Okay. We did barely tap into it, it looks like. So I'm going to look to target my long entry here. So I got my long entry just now. It's not ideally where I want it to be. Not ideally where I want it to be. It's a little bit higher. But I'm still going to keep my stop below the unicorn. 2409.50. Just half a lot. Okay, this one is not bouncing as much as I want it to be. But I'm going to keep my stop at 2409.50 here. 2409.50. If this one doesn't keep reacting, I really want to see this one keep reacting here. And then we can look to target our TP. You know, I would start to probably move my stop up as we start to move. And this one's not bouncing as much as I wanted to see it bounce off the unicorn here. Man, this is not bouncing whatsoever. Not bouncing whatsoever, guys. Okay, well, there it is. As much as I did really want to see this entry, there could still be one more entry. So obviously, like, I still have a lot of room to trade ultimately, so I still want to look for one more re-entry here in these longs. I'm going to look for one more re-entry here, guys. One more re-entry. One more re-entry here. I just got my re-entry. Last trade here. 242150 is my entry. So I keep getting filled higher than I would like. So I'm going to keep my stop. Okay, so I'm looking for about 110 tick first TP. So I want to keep I would like to keep my stop below. I would like to keep my stop below here. We're not seeing the fall through again, guys. So this one, I'm just going to cut it, guys. This fall through has not been happening whatsoever. Not happening whatsoever. As much as I wanted to see these longs come in, we created the bullish breaker. We created the unicorn model, right? We have our London close reversal. It might not happen, and it may be for another eight minutes. So again, I tried it. I really liked all of my entries I've taken today. I have liked every single one. I've had my convictions. But this is one of those days where maybe I should have taken the trades that I called out instead of the trades that I took. But either way, I still like the trades that I took. So I'm not upset. It is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break for now. After not seeing that fall through like I wanted to see it, I'm just going to take a break. But I do expect price to come back up for these equal highs up here, guys. I do expect price to come back up for these equal highs. And eventually try to come back up for equilibrium of our morning range up here. That's still my expectation. And we even have this 5-minute busy right here. So I still want to see the longs come in, but I need to take a break. Get the mind back to where it needs to be and then come back. And I will be with my Discord after this. But I appreciate everybody for joining up. I know I didn't get the wins I wanted to. Hopefully you guys got some of those big wins on that big drop that I called out. All right. You guys take it easy until I see you next. For FFN, I'll be back next Tuesday. For my Discord, yes, of course. Let me send you the invite, or if someone else wants to send the invite. Here, let me grab the invite code. Let me grab there's the invite code right there for you, TJ McGrath. All right, guys, so for my Discord, we'll be back. I'll be back for mentorship pretty soon, and then we will have prop firm session later. So we'll be back for some more trading, all right, guys? So I'll let you know what I'm looking at. We'll still be looking to trade a little bit more. I'll be back on the main account after this. All right, guys, so appreciate you all. You guys stay safe. I'll talk to you all very soon. Again, if you did want to join up our free Discord there or VIP, click that link right there, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Peace out, everybody.